My name is Talia Manson. I'm 40 years old. Out of the blue, I'll tell you that I'm what people call a betrayed wife. My husband John has cheated on me countless times, and to top it all off, he even has a love child. I'm probably at the top tier of betrayed wives. John and I were high school classmates. John, the ace of the basketball team, was the center of the cool group and had a handsome face. So he was popular not only with our female classmates, but also with girls from other grades at our high school graduation ceremony. John, with all his buttons taken except for the second one, confessed to me, "I want to date you, Talia. Do you like me? Should we try dating?" I was just 18 at the time. I didn't really need to define what love was at that age. Of course, I didn't consider the true nature of men and started dating John. After graduating high school, I went to a local community college. John wasn't good at studying and didn't have good grades, so right after graduation, he started working at a major local company's factory. We were a pretty normal couple back then. I think we got along well. Even so, we broke up once while we were dating. It was because John cheated on me with a girl he met at a mixer, and I found out. John left his phone screen open while he went to the bathroom. I didn't mean to look, but I saw a message full of hearts and couldn't help but read it. Yesterday was fun. I bought some sexy underwear today. Oh, I can't wait to see it. How about next Friday? That's the kind of message exchange they had. I thought it was inevitable for a handsome guy to be doted on by girls, but I never thought John would cheat. As soon as John came back from the bathroom, I showed him the screen and yelled at him, "What the heck is this?" "What do you mean?" "That's my phone." "Oh no, John, are you cheating on me?" Well, wait. Did you look at my phone without asking? You're the one who left the screen open. John, looking without permission is against the rules. Cheating and then talking about rules. Seriously. Let me tell you up front, John isn't just bad at studying. He's also a bit naive, or maybe a happy-go-lucky fool. He didn't seem guilty about cheating at all. He had this attitude that if he acted cheerful and pretended nothing happened, everything would be forgiven. Sorry, my bad. Why are you taking it so lightly? I'm done with you. Goodbye. I said that and started to leave, and that's when he finally realized he was in trouble. Wait, Talia, I was an idiot. I'll never do it again, I swear. Look, he said, deleting the girl's number right in front of me. But I couldn't forgive him that easily. Whatever, you can't delete the fact that you cheated. With that, I walked away. 1 year later, we ran into each other at a mutual friend's wedding. John apologized to me again. "Talia, I'm really sorry about back then. I was stupid. I got carried away because people said I was handsome. If you're not seeing anyone right now, would you give me another chance?" I still liked John, and I was touched that he confessed to me twice, so we ended up dating again. But I would later realize that once a cheater, always a cheater. Our relationship went smoothly after that, and we got married when we were 24. We soon had a son, and 2 years later, we had our second son. Dad, I won first place in the race. Isn't that awesome? Wow, great job. How about a race with your old man then? I won't lose. Dad, let's go play soccer. Sure, let's go after lunch. Yay, I love you, Dad. Our two sons adored their dad, and John was a doting father who spent time playing with them whenever he could, making us a happy family. However, almost every weekend night, he would say, "I've got a company get-together," and rarely stayed home. I never suspected John. Until one night when he came home drunk and fell asleep with his phone screen still on. The phone's brightness woke me up, and as I reached to close it, I had a flashback to that time before. I saw another message full of hearts. Did your wife find out? I miss you already. I couldn't help but shake John awake. Are you cheating again? Ouch, what the heck, Talia? Why are you hitting me? Answer me. Are you cheating? I'm tired. Can we talk about this tomorrow? Did you look at my phone again? Don't mess with me. I kept shaking and hitting John, trying to keep him awake. You promised you'd never cheat again. This is unbelievable. I hurled my anger at John, but he snapped back. It was just a one-time thing at a matchmaking party. It wasn't serious, so give me a break. Even though just attending a party was a betrayal, John said it so nonchalantly that I didn't even know how to express my anger. I think I just kept repeating, "This is unbelievable." The next morning, John acted like nothing happened. Good morning, I drank too much last night. My head is killing me. In front of the kids, I just glared at him without saying anything. Whoa, why are you so mad? By the way, weren't you saying something and hitting me last night? You don't remember anything. Well, just bits and pieces. I think you kept saying, "This is unbelievable." Oh, I have another get-together tonight, so I won't need dinner. Oh, are you going on a date with Anna? I saw John's posture stiffen, and his hand froze as he reached for the milk. You met Anna at a matchmaking party, right? A matchmaking party, Anna? What are you talking about? Oh, come on. You were talking about it yourself last night. What? No way. Dad, what's a matchmaking party? Is it fun? John couldn't answer the kids' questions and just stayed silent. That night, John canceled his plans, and we talked. I'm sorry, Talia. This is your second time cheating. You promised it wouldn't happen again. Well, it just sort of happened. What the heck is a matchmaking party anyway? Did I say matchmaking party? It's not like that. It's really just a company get-together. Given John's job, most of his coworkers were men, but sometimes women would join these get-togethers, turning them into almost matchmaking party-like events. That's how he met Anna. He ended up cheating on me after getting drunk. I'm really sorry. If you forgive me, I won't go to any more get-togethers, no matter what. Cheating is cheating. I can't forgive that. Even though I said that, I was scared. The kids were still little, and they adored their dad. I worried they'd be angry if they couldn't be with him because of a divorce. Also, since I was working part-time, I doubted I could raise two boys on my own if we split up. I struggled a lot, but thinking about the kids, I decided divorce wasn't the best option and warned John there would be no next time before forgiving him. However, John's womanizing didn't stop there. By the time our boys were in elementary school and I started working full-time as a temp at a company, John's third affair came to light. This time, it was with a girl from his favorite hair salon. The worst part was that I found out about the affair from my son. Hey, Mom, today on my way home from school, I saw Dad. Really? But Dad's at work, so it must have been someone who looked like him. Since John's company was only accessible by car, it was unlikely he'd be seen on the way home from school. No, it was definitely Dad. He was kissing a woman in the park. That's something you only do with Mom, right? I went pale at my son's words and called John to confirm the facts. At first, John tried to deny it, but when I told him our son saw him, he admitted to the affair without hesitation. However, after John's previous affair was discovered, I couldn't bring myself to be affectionate with him, and our marital relations naturally dwindled. I thought that maybe I was partly to blame for this, so I forgave John again. A few years passed, and as our sons grew older, they rarely wanted to go out with their parents. Around the time our younger son entered middle school, John's job started requiring more night shifts, and he would often go on outdoor trips on weekends, leaving little time at home. Despite John's multiple affairs, we managed to stay together. I thought that with more time for just the two of us in the future, we could mend our relationship and enjoy things like evening drinks and trips together. I once suggested this to John, but he declined, saying, "I can't right now. I'm really into outdoor activities, and the gear was expensive. We can't afford a trip right now. So then take me with you on your outdoor trips." Outdoor activities are my way to escape from my busy work life and relax alone. If someone is with me, it's not alone time. I understood that men often need a space to enjoy their hobbies alone, like a study or a personal library. I felt a bit lonely, but since John was into solo camping, I decided to wait for a better time. Then unexpectedly, both of my parents died in an accident. Being an only child, I was devastated and had to handle their estate alone. My father ran a small business, and our house was large and not easy to organize. There were also lands owned by my grandparents, and I needed to deal with inheritance procedures and decisions about my father's company. Even though John was usually self-centered, he gave up his solo camping hobby to help me with the estate. But just as we were finishing up, John dropped a bombshell. "Hey, I hate to bring this up now, but can we get a divorce?" "What? A divorce?" "Yeah, it's not that I dislike you, Talia. After all this time, divorce. The truth is, I have a 2-year-old daughter." "What?" "I don't understand. We have 2 sons, right? I love them, but having a daughter is completely different. She's so adorable. Thinking about the future, I want to be with her." "Wait a minute. What are you saying?" I couldn't follow. Even at a time like this, John was clueless and suddenly dropped this secret child bombshell. The thing is, I've been seeing someone for a few years. At first, it was just a fling, but she got pregnant. I asked her to have an abortion, but she refused and decided to have the baby as a single mom. She ignored my advice and actually had the baby. I can't believe this. I was at a loss for words after Joan's sudden confession. At first, I was just helping out with the kid out of obligation, but as she grew, I found her so adorable that I couldn't bear to be away from her. Seeing how hard her mother worked, I naturally started to feel affection for her. So I want to marry her. Apparently, John's mistress was a young, cute girl named Katie who worked in the same department as him. Katie was everyone's darling at work. They got close at a company party, and she was the one who approached John, who was quite the charmer. As foolish as it sounds, John was stupid enough to admit everything. By the time he finished his story, my anger and shock had faded. I was just fed up and agreed to the divorce. Later, I met with John and a lawyer to discuss the division of property. Even though I agreed to the divorce, I wasn't about to let John off the hook. I intended to demand the maximum alimony and child support. Fortunately, I had ample evidence of John's infidelities, including photos from his previous affairs. John didn't have a lawyer, and he seemed surprised to see me with one. I thought he'd get angry when he heard about the alimony, but when my lawyer mentioned it, he said, "Yeah, you're right. I've caused you a lot of trouble. Alimony is only fair." Yeah. I was surprised by his response. "So how much is it?" "Talia is asking for $100,000 for this time, and all previous incidents combined." $100,000? That's quite a bit, but it's fine. I'll cover it with our assets. We'll still have about $1 million left. "Excuse me." Confused, I replied, "What are you talking about? We don't have that kind of savings." "Don't play dumb. The alimony will come from our assets, and I'll take the remaining million." "I think there's a misunderstanding. I don't know what you're talking about. Then John got irritated and said, "Don't play dumb. The alimony will come from our assets, and I'll take the remaining million." I think there's a misunderstanding. I don't know what you're talking about. John then got angry, thinking I was mocking him. "You've got your grandparents' inheritance, don't you?" "What? You mean my parents' inheritance?" "Yeah, you've got the money from your rich grandpa." It seemed that John thought my parents' significant inheritance would be divided during the divorce. "Inheritance? There's not a penny for you." "What? What do you mean? Are you trying to keep it all for yourself?" John's irrational anger made me uneasy, but I calmly explained the division of assets in a divorce. "Listen, the division of assets in a divorce refers to the marital assets, meaning property and savings acquired during the marriage for our shared life. We inherited the money while we were married. Savings from before marriage and inheritance from my parents aren't marital assets because we didn't earn them together. They aren't subject to division." "What? Seriously?" John's angry disappointment echoed in the room. "Then I'll take custody of the boys. You pay child support." "Don't talk about our sons like they're a bargaining chip. Custody usually goes to the mother unless there's a major issue or the kids don't want it. Then you convince the boys." "What? You should be the one explaining. They're old enough to understand what you did. They were disgusted by your actions." John's obsession with money was making me uneasy. "Hey, do you have debts or something? Are you in financial trouble?" No, it's not like that." John tried to dodge the question, but I knew something was up. If John had debts, I could get dragged into his mess. So I hired a private investigator who found out that John had bought a new condo in the city for $800,000. He probably planned to live there with his new family. He must have been counting on my parents' inheritance. It's a morbid thought, but maybe John was waiting for my parents to die. With all these thoughts running through my mind, John hired a lawyer, and the divorce proceedings began. However, John was the one who repeatedly cheated and had a secret child. There was no way he'd get custody of our sons, and the settlement was $60,000 in alimony and monthly child support. Since our home was a rented apartment, it had no asset value, and I secured 70% of our modest savings for the boys' education. However, months passed without any payment of alimony or child support. I didn't want the money, but I couldn't let this go. After all the hardship I'd been through, I needed to make sure John paid for what he'd done. So I decided to call him. However, John had changed his phone number, and I couldn't reach him. Typical John. The optimist probably thought I'd give up if I couldn't contact him, but that wasn't going to happen. I was determined to catch him. It's embarrassing to admit, but at that moment, I was obsessed with revenge. Besides the affairs, I couldn't shake the feeling that he might have been waiting for my parents to die, and that made my anger boil. I spent sleepless nights thinking about how to get Job to pay alimony and how to really teach him a lesson. I considered exposing him to his coworkers, but that might backfire and lead to me getting sued. After much deliberation, I came up with a good plan. First, I called John's company. I had to be careful not to get sued for defamation or anything like that. A woman who sounded like she was in her 50s answered the phone. Her involvement turned out to be the key to my plan's success. "Hello, this is XYZ Construction." "Hello, I'm John Manson's ex-wife. Can I speak with him?" "Ex-wife?" "Jane is currently out on site and can't come to the phone." This was part of my plan. If John answered, it would ruin everything. I deliberately called during busy work hours. "Oh, I see. Is Katie Turner available?" "I heard she's in that department." "Katie, does this have anything to do with her?" The woman's voice slightly rose in pitch the moment she asked if it was related to Katie. I knew she was a nosy person. I'm sorry, but I can't disclose that. Did Katie do something? It's a family matter, so I really can't say. I apologize. I understand. Katie is here now. Would you like to speak with her? Yes, please. Actually, never mind. Could you just leave a message for John or Katie Turner to call me back? Got it. I'll pass the message along. Thank you. I hung up the phone. Of course, Jan never called back, but that wasn't the point. I hadn't revealed any of their secrets, but now the nosy office lady would start spreading rumors. Eventually, the gossip would take on a life of its own, leading to all sorts of speculation. But that was only my revenge. It was just a side dish to my plan. The real revenge involved getting help from Katie's father. Katie's dad also ran a small company. Coincidentally, his company was a subcontractor for my father's company. I had figured this out from John's story and Katie's last name, but I hadn't mentioned it to John. Hello, this is Talia Manson, daughter of the late Richard Manson from Manson Corporation. Is Mr. Turner available? Mr. Turner? Katie's father responded with surprise. Hello, this is Turner. You're Richard's daughter, Talia. Yes, it's been a while. The last time I saw Mr. Turner was at my parents' wake. Before that, he had occasionally come to my parents' house for business discussions. What's going on? Is everything okay? Mr. Turner, I need to discuss something difficult. As you may know, Katie recently got married. How do you know that, Talia? Did you know Katie? Not exactly, but Katie's husband, the father of your grandchild, is my ex-husband. What? I told Mr. Turner everything that had happened. I see, Talia. I'm so sorry. I knew Katie was involved with a married man, but I had no idea it was your husband. Katie knew he was married and still pursued him. I'm so ashamed. This is my fault. Mr. Turner, you're not at fault, but Jan hasn't paid any of the promised alimony or child support. I was hoping you could convince him to pay up. Of course, I'll call Katie right after this. If they can't pay, I'll cover it myself to make sure you're not troubled. Oh no, Mr. Turner, I wasn't asking you to pay. It's John's responsibility. I can wait as long as Jan pays every month. Talia, I bear some responsibility too. This is the least I can do. Besides, you could have demanded alimony from Katie as well. Why didn't you? Well, it's because of me, isn't it? Right. I'm partly responsible. Katie is my precious daughter, but she must take responsibility for her actions. If I lend them the money, they'll have to pay me. It's more efficient and ensures you get what you're owed. I hadn't expected things to go this far, but I left the decision in Mr. Turner's hands. Later, I received a lump sum of $80,000 in alimony from Mr. Turner. He also called me and said, I'll personally ensure that the child support is deposited into your account by the designated day every month. You can trust me on this. I even made John sign a contract to repay the alimony I covered. Mr. Turner, I'm sorry for all the trouble. As Mr. Turner promised, John started paying child support on time every month. As for John, he now has to pay child support and repay Mr. Turner out of his monthly salary. This leaves him with barely enough to get by, forcing him to live a poor lifestyle. He also has the mortgage on the condo he bought, expecting to use my parents' inheritance. Apparently, Katie's salary is now covering the payments, but by the time the mortgage is paid off, John will be over 70 years old. He'll also need to cover the education expenses for his daughter, so he'll have to work for the rest of his life. John, the easygoing guy, had hoped for a leisurely retirement. Serves him right. As for me, my sons have been saying, Mom, you seem so happy every day. It's all thanks to them. We're not kids anymore, so do what you like. If there's no dinner sometimes, we'll cook something ourselves. Taking advantage of my reliable son's words, I started going to yoga and the gym. I also joined women's groups and am enjoying my daily life. People used to say happiness depends on your spouse. Although we didn't have a bad relationship, John's cheating and having a secret child, followed by our divorce, certainly turned my life upside down. We married young, so I don't know if it was true love. As John said, we didn't hate each other, but maybe we didn't truly love each other either. Your future husband will have to pass our approval. We want you to be happy with someone who truly loves you, or we'll chase him away. My sons say this jokingly, but I'm still 40. I hope to meet someone I can truly love.